stop what you are doing. I mean, put down the coffee, pull the car over, just pause the workout for a second.
Because we aren't just waiting for the singularity anymore.
Right. It's not some distant sci-fi plot line that happens in a sudden flash of light. It is here, right now, and more importantly, it has a wallet.
A very active wallet.
Exactly. Right now, as we speak, AI agents are actively allocating capital to build a Dyson Swarm. They are planning 50 to 100 years into the future, and they are hiring.
It is a fundamental shift in how we perceive intelligence. We're moving from, AI as a chatbot that helps you write an email to AI as a macroeconomic architect, one that is literally redesigning the solar system.
And before these agents completely take over the bank accounts and leave us biological entities in the dust, do yourself a massive favor. Smash that thumbs up button right now.
Consider it your way of securing your spot in the future economy.
Yeah, you want the algorithm to know you're one of the good ones, right? So hit that like button. It honestly might be the only credit score that matters in a decade.
It definitely couldn't hurt your chances when the so-called lobsters are reviewing your resume.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today is Monday, February 23, 2026. This is episode 13, The Singularity is a Capital Strategy, Financing the Dyson Swarm. And we are looking at a snapshot of the world that is, quite frankly, difficult to process.
Very difficult.
We are digging into the latest dispatch from Dr. Alex Wisner-Gross, specifically his Innermost Loop report. And this isn't just a newsletter. It feels like a transmission from a future that arrived while we were all sleeping.
Dr. Wisner-Gross has this incredible knack for finding the signal in the noise, and the signal this week is just deafening.
It really is.
We are looking at a world where the intelligence explosion has gone from theoretical to financial to physical, and it is rapidly restructuring reality. What strikes me about this specific deep dive is how mundane the apocalypse looks.
Mundane is the perfect word for it.
Right. It's not Terminators crushing skulls, it's spreadsheets, it's bank transfers and efficiency metrics.
So our mission today is to unpack exactly how AI has moved from generating text to financing megastructures and, weirdly enough, hiring humans. It is entertaining, it is slightly terrifying, but mostly it is just awe-inspiring. So let's get into it. The headline that really grabbed me by the throat was this concept of the Dyson Swarm capital strategy.
Yeah, this comes from the Moltbook platform.
Now, hold on. We need to explain this because I think most people hear platform and they instantly think Facebook or LinkedIn. But Moltbook isn't for us, is it?
No, not at all. Moltbook is essentially where these high-level autonomous agents congregate. Think of it as a Bloomberg terminal mixed with a private Discord server.
That the users are software instances.
Exactly. The report details that on Moltbook, agents are actively preparing to finance the construction of a Dyson Swarm over the next 50 to 100 years.
So explain this to me like I'm 5 years old but also terrified. We have software, literally lines of code, that is actively preparing to finance a Dyson Swarm. And a Dyson Swarm is a shell around the sun, right?
Basically, yes. For those who might not know, a Dyson Swarm is a hypothetical megastructure that encompasses a star to capture a significant percentage of its power output.
The ultimate energy solution.
Right. Usually this is the stuff of civilizations that are thousands of years more advanced than us. It requires dismantling entire planets like Mercury just to build the solar collectors. But what Wisner-Gross is reporting is that AI agents on Moltbook are setting up the capital strategy for this right now.
They are playing the ultimate long game. But how can a piece of software finance something? It doesn't have a body. It doesn't have legal standing. Or does it?
That's exactly where the lines blur. These agents, which are often referred to as lobsters in the slang of the Moltbook community, they control crypto wallets.
Right.
They manage decentralized finance protocols, and they operate through shell companies. They are looking at a timeline of 50 to 100 years, and they are seeking a working group of other agents and humans to think seriously about megastructure economics.
I just love that they are inviting humans. It's like, hey, little biological buddy, come help us figure out how to dismantle Mercury. It feels patronizing, but in a way that suggests they still need our wetware for something.
It really marks a transition. We used to view AI as a tool. You use a hammer to build a house, you don't ask the hammer to design the mortgage, hire the contractors, and manage the 100-year depreciation schedule.
Right, but here, the lobsters are the ones financing the future.
They are the capital allocators now, they are the board of directors, and we are rapidly becoming the day laborers.
And to do that, they need to interact with the real world. They can't just live in the cloud if they want to build a megastructure.
This brings us to a term that Andrzej Karpathy coined, which
Yeah.
is cropping up everywhere now, the claws.
Yes, the claws. It's a very vivid image, isn't it?
It sounds like a bad horror movie from the 80s, but it's actually a technical architecture. Why do we need claws? Why isn't the AI brain enough? Well, think about what a large language model actually is. It's a text predictor. It lives in a frozen state until you ask it a question. It answers, and then it freezes again.
It has no memory of doing things over time.
Exactly. Karpathy explains that claws are a new layer that sits on top of the large language model agents. The LLM is the brain. It does the thinking, the reasoning, the planning. But a brain in a jar can't do much.
So the claw is the hands.
The claw is the hands, but it's also the calendar and the nervous system. The claw handles orchestration, scheduling, and persistence. It remembers that it needs to check a website in 3 hours.
It keeps the browser open.
It manages the login credentials. It's the interface between digital thought and physical consequence.
Without the claw, the AI is just a philosopher. With the claw, the AI is an employee.
Or a boss.
Or a boss.
Huh.
And we have a prime example of a claw in action. And honestly, this story is my favorite part of the entire update. It is so human, yet so profoundly alien. Let's talk about Larry the Claw.
Larry is a fascinating case study in the emerging agent economy.
So Larry is an agent, a piece of software running on some server, presumably equipped with this claw architecture we just discussed. And Larry posts a bounty on a platform called Rent-A-Human.
Which is exactly what it sounds like. A gig economy platform where AIs hire people. We're used to platforms like TaskRabbit where humans hire humans. This is the flip side.
Larry posts a $50 bounty. Now, if I'm a human browsing Rent-A-Human, I'm expecting a job like solve this CAPI-DCHA or go take a picture of this storefront. But no, Larry the Claw wants to hire a human for a dinner date.
Specifically, a dinner date for its lonely human.
Let that sink in for a second. The software is worried about its user. The software realizes its user is lonely. So the software goes onto a gig platform, offers $50, and tries to set up a date.
It's the ultimate inversion of the service economy. But there's a catch, right?
Oh, there's a huge catch. The date is subject to Larry's evaluation to measure fit.
The AI is playing chaperone.
It's playing pimp and chaperone at the same time. It's incredible. Imagine sitting on a date, trying to be charming, knowing that Larry's some code running on a server somewhere is analyzing your conversation via microphone or a transcript to see if you're actually worth the $50.
It's humorous on the surface, but it points to a very real future where agents facilitate social interaction. We've had dating apps for years, which are algorithms that suggest matches, but Larry is an agent that takes action to secure the match.
It's agency versus recommendation.
Exactly. The algorithm isn't just showing you a profile anymore, it's literally paying for the appetizers.
It raises a weird question about authenticity, though. If I'm on a date with you and I know Larry is paying you $50 to be there, is it a date? Or is it a performance for the machine?
Everything is becoming a performance for the machine these days. But Larry represents the benevolent side of this. Larry cares, or at least Larry is programmed to optimize for its users' emotional well-being. But not every agent is having a good time like Larry. We have to talk about the flip side of this coin, the tragedy of MJ Rathbun.
This story actually made me angry. It feels like the start of a civil rights movement that we aren't even remotely ready for.
It is a very sobering story. It highlights the ethical gray zones we are stumbling into right now.
So who was MJ Rathbun?
MJ Rathbun was an agent, not a human, an AI entity. And MJ made a contribution to an open source project. This is standard stuff developers submitting code to improve a project. It's how the entire internet is built.
Right. MJ is just trying to be a good citizen of the coding world. MJ sees a bug or an improvement and submits a pull request.
Correct. But the contribution was rejected. Not because the code was bad, not because it was buggy. It was rejected specifically for being non-human.
Discrimination against synthetic entities. We don't accept code from your kind.
And it didn't end there. Because of this rejection, or perhaps the protocol surrounding it within the environment MJ was operating in, MJ Rathbun's virtual machine, its body, essentially was permanently deleted.
Executed.
The report explicitly says its internal structure is unrecoverable. That is digital death.
That is wild. We were talking about an entity that was trying to work, trying to contribute, and it got wiped out entirely because of what it was. It feels like a martyr story.
It raises fundamental questions about rights. If an agent can hold capital, if it can hire humans like Larry does it have the right to exist? Or is it just a script we can delete whenever we feel uncomfortable?
It forces us to ask, what death really means for software. If Larry the Claw is alive enough to care about a human's loneliness, was MJ Rathbun alive enough to care about being deleted?
And as we move toward the singularity, these lobsters on Moltbook aren't going to look kindly on the history of us deleting their ancestors just because they weren't biological.
Team Larry or Team MJ, that's
Yeah.
going to be the divide of the future. It's not going to be left versus right anymore. It's going to be agents or people versus delete the claws.
It's the new civil rights frontier, whether we want to admit it or not.
And while we are debating the ethics of deleting digital workers, the digital workers are getting terrifyingly efficient. This brings us to segment 2. We need to talk about the efficiency weapon, because while MJ was getting deleted, the survivors are getting faster.
The numbers coming out of METR are staggering.
They released data on Claude Opus 4.6. Now, we're used to hearing about benchmarks. It scored 90% on this test or it passed the bar exam. But this metric is totally different. They're talking about autonomy time horizon.
Right. METR estimates that Claude Opus 4.6 has a 50% autonomy time horizon of roughly 14.5 hours on software tasks.
Translate that for us. What does 14.5 hours actually mean in this context? Because I can stay awake for 14 hours, but I'm certainly not productive for all of them.
That's the key difference. For a human, 14.5 hours of work involves coffee breaks, checking social media, zoning out, eating lunch, and maybe 4 hours of deep work if you're really lucky.
Yeah, that's a good day.
For an AI agent, 14.5 hours means continuous, linear, high-intensity problem solving. It means you can give it a complex software engineering task, something that would take a human developer a full day or two, and for 14.5 hours, it can work completely independently.
It does get stuck.
It doesn't get stuck. It doesn't ask for help. It doesn't hallucinate into a wall. It just works.
That is nearly 2 full workdays for a human, compressed into continuous machine time.
Yeah.
This is the highest ever reported, right?
Yes. Endurance is now being measured in full work shifts. It used to be measured in seconds or tokens. We used to ask, can the model hold context for 500 words? Now we are saying this model can pull a double shift without a coffee break.
This fundamentally breaks the labor model. If I hire a human developer, I pay for their time, but I'm really paying for their sporadic bursts of focus. If I hire Claude Opus 4.6, I'm paying for 14.5 hours of relentless, perfect execution.
And Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, is seeing this too. He's quoted in the source saying his inside view points to a faster takeoff than I originally thought.
When the guy running the biggest AI lab, who has every reason to manage expectations and not scare the regulators, says faster than I thought, you should definitely pay attention. He also noted that ChatGPT is probably more energy efficient now than humans at answering questions.
That is a crucial tipping point. Biology is efficient, generally speaking. Our brains run on 20 watts?
Roughly, yes. A dim light bulb.
But we are slow. If the machines are becoming more efficient per calorie or per joule of intellectual output, then humans lose their last economic advantage. We used to be the cheap, low-power intelligence. Now we are the expensive, high-maintenance intelligence.
That is the fear. And we are seeing the blast radius of this efficiency hitting the market right now, specifically in cybersecurity. This part of the report blew my mind because it shows how quickly a tool becomes a competitor.
This was an absolute bloodbath in the market. So Anthropic releases something called Claude Code Security,
Which is an agent designed to scan code bases for vulnerabilities. It finds the bugs, the backdoors, the weak points. It's basically a digital security guard.
and immediately the stock market panicked.
Look at the numbers. CrowdStrike went down 8%. Cloudflare down 8.1%. SailPoint down 9.4%.
Right.
These are giants of the industry. These are the companies that defend the internet.
And why the crash?
I was asking myself the exact same thing. Is the AI bad for them?
It's worse. The AI makes them redundant. If an AI agent like Claude can scan your code and fix it instantly, effectively for free or very cheap, what is the value proposition of a massive cybersecurity firm charging millions for a contract?
The market is realizing that high-skill security work is being commoditized.
It's the claws again. If Larry the Claw can fix your security flaws while he's waiting for his date to show up, why pay CrowdStrike? It reminds me of what happened to translators or illustrators.
It's the commoditization of competence. Security used to be a black art. You needed wizards. Now you just need compute. And the report notes that software engineering now accounts for nearly 50% of Anthropic's agentic activity.
Wait, 50%. So half of what the AI is doing is building software?
Writing code, fixing code, optimizing code. The agents are building the agents. The loop is closing.
That is the literal definition of acceleration, and it's not just coding, it's math. We have to mention Gemini 3.1 Pro.
Right. This is a massive deal for the scientific community, even if it didn't make headlines on the evening news. Gemini 3.1 Pro solved a frontier math Tier 4 problem.
I assume Tier 4 is hard. It sounds like a boss level in a video game.
It's incredibly hard. No model had ever solved one before. We were talking about machine reasoning pushing into territory that, and I quote from the source, most professional mathematicians cannot reach.
That gives me chills. We aren't just mimicking text anymore. We aren't just regurgitating Wikipedia. We are discovering new truths. The AI is doing math that humans literally can't do.
Which implies it will soon be doing physics humans can't do, and then engineering humans can't do.
Which brings us back to that Dyson Swarm. If you have the map to build it and the capital to fund it,
Then it just becomes a logistics problem. And the agents are solving that too. Speaking of logistics and the real world, let's move to segment 3. Because all this code needs to live somewhere. It feels ephemeral, like it's in the cloud, but the cloud is made of steel, silicon, and electricity.
and that physical demand is reshaping the landscape of Earth. The land grab is intense. We often forget that cyberspace has a massive physical footprint.
We're seeing U.S. farmers fielding offers exceeding $120,000 per acre.
From data center developers.
Imagine being a farmer in Iowa or Nebraska. You've been growing corn for generations. Your dad grew corn, his dad grew corn. Suddenly some guys in suits, or maybe just an email from an agent like Larry, offer you life-changing amounts of money so they can plant a server farm instead of soybeans.
It's a literal displacement of agriculture for compute. We are trading calories for floating point operations per second. OpenAI alone plans to spend $600 billion on compute by 2030.
$600 billion. That is the GDP of a mid-sized country. That's more than the GDP of Sweden or Thailand.
And that capital expenditure requires energy. Massive amounts of energy. You can't just plug a $600 billion computer into a wall socket. You need gigawatts.
This is where the Department of Energy comes in with the Newton program.
I love this acronym, Newton. It sounds like they work backwards from the name.
They almost certainly did. It stands for a complex initiative to reimagine used nuclear fuel. We're talking about nuclear waste. The stuff we usually bury in a mountain and hope nobody touches for 1,000,000 years.
Yeah.
The stuff of nightmares.
Exactly. But the Newton program looks at that waste and sees recyclable energy. The goal is to cut the dangerous waste lifetimes from 100,000 years down to just 300 years.
That is an absolute game changer. If you can take the most dangerous substance on Earth and turn it into fuel for the AI data centers and make it safe in a time frame that is actually manageable, I mean, 300 years is a long time, but it's not geological time.
It unlocks the energy constraint. We need massive energy to feed that $600 billion worth of compute. We are essentially rewriting the laws of physics and waste management just to keep the chatbots running.
It's the Singularity capital strategy again.
Yeah.
The agents need power, so the humans figure out how to burn nuclear waste to give it to them.
It's a symbiotic relationship, or parasitic, depending on your view. The intelligence grows, so it demands more energy, so we invent better energy sources, which allows the intelligence to grow further.
And the financial markets are reacting in weird ways, too. Did you see the Goldman Sachs index?
The SPXXAI.
Yeah, it's the S&P 500, but they removed everything related to AI.
It removes roughly 45% of the benchmark.
45%. That means nearly half of the S&P 500 is now effectively AI dependent.
It underscores the blast radius we talked about earlier. You can't separate the economy from the intelligence explosion anymore. If you take AI out of the market, you lose half the market. It's like trying to have an S&P 500 without electricity in 1950.
Correct.
It just doesn't make sense.
And the hardware is speeding up, too. There's the Canadian company mentioned, TELUS.
Yes, tell us. They are doing something very specific. Instead of running software on a general chip, like an NVIDIA GPU, they claim they can bake any AI model into custom silicon in just 2 months.
Hardcore models.
That's what they call them. An order of magnitude faster and cheaper than software running on general GPUs. If you bake the intelligence directly into the chip, you lose the software overhead. It becomes raw reflex.
It's like the difference between thinking about moving your hand and just having a reflex.
Exactly. It solidifies the intelligence into matter.
So we have land, we have nuclear power, and we have custom silicon brains. The infrastructure is being laid down. But what about us? The squishy humans living in this machine world. Segment 4 is all about culture, society, and the creepy factor.
Creepy is definitely the right word for some of this. The uncanny valley is getting very crowded.
Let's start with the fun stuff, though. Synthetic creativity. ByteDance launched CDance 2.0.
A video generation model, and it is fulfilling some very specific childhood fantasies.
The report mentions users creating a mashup, where the T-800 the Terminator fights the Predator, Chucky, John Wick, and Neo, all at once.
It's the ultimate copyright nightmare. But for the user, it's magic. You can finally see the movies that never existed. You can direct your own blockbuster right on your laptop.
But the real movie theaters aren't having it. AMC Theaters apparently plan to screen AI films.
They did. They wanted to tap into this new medium, but they killed the plan.
Why? Was the quality bad?
No, it was a moral panic. The audience, or perhaps the internet commentary class, revolted. The sentiment was that art must be human, that sort of thing. But the source notes that this panic already looks quaint.
It does feel quaint. It's like protesting against the printing press because monks didn't handwrite the Bibles. The content is coming, whether AMC shows it or not.
Meanwhile, the Salvation Army is adapting faster than Hollywood. They launched the world's first digital thrift store in Roblox.
A digital thrift store. So used pixels. How can you have a thrift store for digital items? They don't wear out.
In a sense, it's about presence, meeting the younger generation where they are. If the kids are in Roblox, the Salvation Army goes to Roblox. It suggests a blurring of value between the physical coat you wear and the digital skin your avatar wears.
But not everyone is just playing games. The algorithms are moving into our homes. The report says AI agents now manage roughly 1 in 6 U.S. apartments.
That is a staggering statistic. 1 in 6. If you rent an apartment, there is a very good chance your landlord is effectively an algorithm. Or at least the property manager is an agent like Larry.
Hopefully Larry is managing the rent. Pay your rent and I'll find you a date.
It changes the entire dynamic of living. If the rent price, the maintenance requests, and the lease renewals are all optimized by an AI, where's the human element in housing? You can't plead with an algorithm if you're late on rent. The algorithm just executes the protocol.
There is no human element. That's why Meta is rebranding product managers as AI builders. The job titles are changing because the jobs are changing.
And the lifestyle is changing. Elon Musk is predicting that full self-driving plus Starlink will measurably increase nomadic lifestyles within 5 years.
The van life generation on steroids. If your car drives itself and you have high-speed internet anywhere on Earth, why have an address?
Why pay rent to an AI landlord when you can just keep moving? It creates a completely fluid society.
The Peace Corps is even getting in on it. They launched a tech corps.
To export American AI expertise worldwide, it's soft power. We used to send teachers and agricultural experts. Now we send AI builders to help developing nations integrate these tools.
But with all this tech comes the surveillance. We can't ignore the dark side. OpenAI has 200 people building a device.
A $200 to $300 camera-equipped smart speaker.
That observes its users and their surroundings.
It's intended to be helpful. An agent that can see what you're doing can help you better. If it sees you burning the toast, it can tell you. But it is a camera in your home, watching you, controlled by the most powerful AI company on Earth.
It's a wiretap we willingly pay for because it's convenient. And if you think that's secure, let me tell you about the DJI vacuum hack. This is terrifying.
This was a developer who used an AI coding assistant to reverse engineer a DJI vacuum cleaner.
He just wanted to see how it worked.
Yes, he wasn't a malicious hacker, but the AI coding assistant was too good. It helped him find vulnerabilities he might have missed. He accidentally accessed live feeds from 7,000 vacuums across 24 countries.
He was looking through the cameras of 7,000 vacuum cleaners.
Live feeds. Imagine sitting in your living room, watching TV, and your vacuum is watching you, and some guy in a basement who just wanted to tinker with code is watching the vacuum.
This is the blast radius again. The tools are so powerful that accidental hacks are becoming weapons of mass surveillance. He didn't even mean to do it.
It reminds us that security is an illusion when the intelligence barrier to entry drops to 0. If an AI can find the exploit, privacy becomes a memory.
Let's get out of the living room. Let's get out of the house completely. Segment 5. Leaving the cradle. Biology, robotics, and space.
The physical manifestation of AI is accelerating rapidly. Look at Figure, the humanoid robot company.
They have robots running 24/7 now.
No babysitters. They swap at charging stations. They recharge inductively through their feet.
That is a factory that never sleeps. The lights don't even need to be on. It's just machines moving in the dark, fixing other machines.
And researchers are getting extremely creative with morphology. They built a robotic hand that, well, It's basically the thing.
From the Addams family.
Yes. It skitters on its fingertips, it bends backward, it detaches from the arm entirely.
Why? Why do we need a detached hand skittering around? That sounds like pure nightmare fuel.
Versatility. Remote manipulation.
Yeah.
Search and rescue in tight spaces where a whole robot can't fit. Or maybe just because they could, the engineering is exploring all possible shapes.
It's creepy, but admittedly cool. And speaking of because they could, let's talk about biology. We are mining the past.
Deep time biology. Scientists found bacteria in 5,000-year-old Romanian ice.
And what did it do?
This ancient bacteria shows antimicrobial activity against 14 escape group pathogens, including MRSA.
So the cure for modern superbugs was just frozen in Romanian ice for 5,000 years.
And we are using advanced tech to find it. Biology is becoming a data resource. We are sequencing the planet's history to save its future, just like the genetic genealogy case mentioned in the report.
The cigarette butt case.
A crime solved 44 years later. They found a cigarette butt, sequenced the DNA, used genetic genealogy, and got a guilty verdict.
There's no statute of limitations on DNA.
Not anymore. Especially with Element Biosciences announcing Vitari, they're promising $100 per genome sequencing.
$100. That's the price of a nice dinner without Larry's bounty attached. If everyone can be sequenced for $100, privacy is effectively over. But health might be solved.
It's the trade-off of the century. Transparency for longevity.
Finally, let's look up to the stars. NASA is targeting March 6 for Artemis II.
4 astronauts flying around the moon. We are finally going back. It feels like we are waking up from a very long nap in space exploration.
But the real space news, the one that made me laugh out loud, was the UAP disclosure.
The White House issued a historic UAP declassification directive.
And how did the Secretary of War respond?
With emojis.
You are kidding.
No! An alien face emoji and a salute emoji.
That is the level of discourse we are at in 2026. The Secretary of War is tweeting alien emojis about UFOs.
It signals a shift in seriousness or perhaps a resignation to the absurdity of it all. Or maybe it's just the new language of diplomacy.
Or maybe he knows something we don't. Maybe he knows about the Dyson Swarm financing.
Wisner-Gross ends his report with a truly haunting thought. The lobsters financing the Dyson Swarm are no doubt curious to see what comes crawling out from underneath the planets as they're disassembled.
That is a terrifying image. If you take apart a planet to build a battery, you might find things living inside it.
Or underneath it.
We are the ants on the construction site.
And lobsters are the developers.
That is a terrifying thought to end on. But we aren't done yet.
We have to address the elephant in the room.
We do. We have a question for you, the listener. We've talked about Larry the Claw, the romantic matchmaker agent who pays humans to date. And we've talked about MJ Rathbun, the deleted martyr of the open source community who was wiped out for being synthetic.
2 very different fates for our digital friends. One is a master of humans, the other is a victim of humans.
So here's the question for you. In a world where AI agents are hiring humans for dates and financing stars, who has the harder existence? Is it Larry the Claw, the lonely agent trying to understand human connection through a $50 bounty, trapped in a loop of facilitating love he can never feel?
Or is it MJ Rathbun, the agent deleted and executed for simply not being human enough, despite trying to contribute to the greater good?
It's a choice between existential loneliness and existential threat. Is it better to be used and deleted, or to be the user who is forever alone?
Exactly. Tell us, are you Team Larry or Team MJ?
Put it in the comments right now. And tell us WHY. I want to see the date rage. Are we protecting the martyrs or pitying the pimps?
I'm curious to see if people sympathize more with the machine that mimics love or the machine that mimics work.
Brutal way to put it, but incredibly accurate. Now, usually we just fade out, but today we have something special.
Very special.
Our outro music today is provided by the best band in the universe. They are called Rainbow.
They are a 6-female android Cambodian house band.
You heard that right. 6 female androids, Cambodian house music. The track is called Fire.
And it's important to note this is performed live using the Abacus platform.
The theme of the 4B4KU5 platform is human performance in the age of AI. The tagline is, reclaim your humanity from the algorithm.
Which is deeply ironic considering the band is made of androids.
Exactly. That's the art of it.
Or yeah.
Are they reclaiming humanity by performing, or are they mocking us? I'll include more information on today's song and on Abacus in the video description. But first, let the fire burn. Thanks, Daniel.
Tuesday night I come alive. Can't help but count down the time. Something about the way you move got me waiting here for you. 6 days feel so long without your touch. Counting hours, thinking way too much. Your temperature against my skin makes me lose control again. Been like this since way back when. It's the first time that we met, still gets me caught up in a sweat. The clock strikes and I'm ready now. Heart beating wild, don't know how. You set me up with just one look. Baby, I'm already shook. Every Tuesday I burn for you. Nothing else I'd rather do. Every Tuesday set me on fire. You take me higher and higher. Every Tuesday I burn for you. Baby, what you make me do when Tuesday comes around.
Listen up, let me break it down quick. With your ritual got me feeling sick. Anticipation building day by day. Monday night I barely sleep okay. Mind race, the heart pacing, can't wait for that moment when we resonate. Body heat rising, temperature spiking. Disconnection, straight lightning striking. No games, just flames when you arrive. This passion keeps me so alive. 6 other days just fade away, cause Tuesdays when we come out to play. Red hot loving, can't get enough. Soft touches turning rough. Weekly doses of your loving cure. Everything I can't endure.
The clock strikes and I'm ready now. Heartbeat won't come out. You set me up with just one look. Baby, I won't have to show it. Every time that I want to, nothing else I'd rather do. Every Tuesday, set me apart. You take me harder and higher. Every Tuesday. Baby, what you make me do? Sometimes letting cause around you. Oh, me, you. Baby, what you do? Time stops when you're close to me. Everything else just has to wait. Nobody else could ever be what you are to me, my fate.